Hello and welcome to my live stream. Jess Eva Allen here. If you don't know me, I am a singer-songwriter as well as an artist crowdfunding coach, and I love to see artists equipped, funded, and to put out their music. And I have been on a break. Hello and welcome to. Let me make sure that doesn't echo. I've been on a break and I've taken some time off and it's been wonderful, but I am back and I wanted to share some of my takeaways because it is the middle of the year. It is July. And that means we're 6 months into your goals, your yearly goals. And we got 6 months left. And it means that we've had 6 months of work within our body, within our rhythms. And so a big takeaway from this break that I've taken is that we get to establish rhythms of rest within the year, within our weeks, and then something what I like to call flex time, and I'll explain a little bit more about what that is later. And if some of you are following me on Instagram, and if you're here on Instagram, definitely say hi. Hey, Song Cutter, welcome. If you're here on Facebook or YouTube, definitely say hi as well. But we're going to be talking about rhythms of rest and how to incorporate flex time. And I'm going to be let me share this quote with you guys. Healing is so hard because it's a constant battle between your inner child who's scared and just wants safety, your inner teenager who's angry and just wants justice, and your adult self who is tired and just wants peace. Be gentle with yourself. And I've been meditating on this lately. Hey, CJ Bowlsby, welcome. We're going to talk about rhythms of rest and flex time today. So, if you're someone who has felt a little bit overwhelmed within the year lately, or you just can't seem to catch up, I feel you. I took I was still working, but a 2 week break from social media and just a detox. And I wanted to share what my takeaways are. And really, um, it's been wonderful because I've been able to create some rhythms, take some time and stop and create, okay, what are the rhythms that I want to, that are not working, that have not been working in the past 6 months, and what are some rhythms that I want to establish for the next part of the year? So if you're someone dealing with those things, I got you, I relate. So thank God for coaches in my life because one of the reasons why I am a coach and um, have chosen that path is because I've had amazing people in my life who see my blind spots and who see my greatness and also see the things that are keeping me from it. And so, if you don't have anybody in your life like that, I recommend um, setting an intention to create those types of relationships, whether they're with a coach, with a friend, with other artists, because those relationships, those types of connections could save your life. And that was the case for me in the last few weeks because I came to my coach and I just said, hey, I'm so tired. And I just was relating with that part of the quote where it says, your adult self who's tired and just wants peace. I said, you know what? I just want some peace and quiet, and I want to relax. And I did that, by the way. I listened to my body and I did that. But she also pointed out, she said, Jess, are you taking flex time? Now, let me explain what flex time is. Flex time in the community of the coaches that I work with or is a time of the month where you don't have any appointments, where you don't set any appointments. You may work, but it's not going to be appointment work. It's not going to be driven by a timeline. And in my community, um, we we set aside a whole week out of the month. Now, this is very different from 9 to 5, and I actually was rooming with some girls who were 9 to 5, and I almost felt guilty. I felt guilty for taking a whole week out of the month. I felt like I didn't deserve it, or unless I hit my financial goals, I'm not gonna hit. I'm not gonna do that. And what I realized is because I hadn't been setting that boundary for 6 months, I was feeling the effects of it. So that's what flex time is. And it also is the weekends, right? I tell my clients, I'm like, I believe in taking weekends off unless you take another part of the week off, right? 1 or 2 days where you're just no appointments, right? So these rhythms of rest are very, very important. And if you ignore them, like I have been for the past few months, you might end up in the place of apathy. I was feeling apathetic about my clients. I was feeling apathetic about everything. And to be honest, I'm still coming out of it. But it feels, what feels good is to identify what was missing. Because if you just are like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, you don't identify what the problem is, guess what, right? Doing the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result, right? So if we identify what's not working, then we can actually address it. Then we can actually change it. And I'm working on my calendar right now to really be intentional and establish these rhythms of rest. Now, again, if you don't, let's say you work on the weekends. I know a lot of artists gig. That means you have another part of the week where you're not doing anything. Maybe you go to the gym instead, right? That's the other thing I have been incorporating as well is my workout time, my gym time, and really being purposeful in the week. For me, if I don't have a good 1 to 2 hour block to get ready for the day, to go to the gym, and all these things, then I usually don't do it. Now, what I was doing before this was I was working out at home 30 minutes a day, and that still worked. It wasn't bad, but I just realized in this next month at least I needed to give myself more space and more time to recover and to create that. So that's what I've been doing. So instead of going live last week, I went to the gym, I worked out and took care of myself. Now, we all have different uh, things to address when it comes to feeling apathetic or overwhelmed or burnt out. And we have different rhythms that haven't been working and that have been working. So if you're here, I would love for you to share in the chat what has been working for you and what hasn't been working for you when it comes to your rhythms of rest, when it comes to your flex time, when it comes to building the life that you have committed to build. And if you feel that you're on the hamster wheel going round and round and round in circles, that means there's something not working. Have you identified what that is? And have you committed to creating something different in your life? Because if you're not committing to that, then you're going to keep doing it, right? And I set that example by examining it myself, and then I also see my clients doing that too. And let me just tell you, we as humans, have you ever noticed that humans are super forgetful? We are super forgetful. And just as soon as we remember what works and what doesn't work, we forget it. So writing this down is so, so important. So if you have a pen and paper, I suggest getting it or looking for one and writing it down. What is working in my rhythms of rest and flex time and what is not? And are you finding yourself apathetic to where you just want to disappear for a month? That means your lifestyle, there's something not working, right? Because we can push, but we don't want to grind, right? uh I'm not a supporter of hustle culture, but I am a supporter of meeting goals and creating space to meet them, and then creating space to do nothing, because we're not created to just run like a machine, right? If we were, then we would be a machine. We're not. We're very capable of creating a lot of big things in a small amount of time, and I think that's what I see a lot with clients, especially those who aren't ready. They feel like, oh, I'm not ready to crowdfund. It's like, why not? Why can't you create a lifestyle now to where you could receive the funds, right? And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you have the power, if that makes sense. You have the ability to create the life that you want to create. And if this is something that's speaking to you, put me in the chat. Is it something that you struggle with? Is it something that you want to see happen in your life? Because I'll tell you, if you have a commitment to make it happen, it'll happen. So that's what I want to know. What is working with your rhythms of rest and what is not working? And are you committed on a scale of 1 to 10? What are you committed to create something different in the next 6 months, in the next quarter of the year, even? You can test it out in the next 3 months and say, or even the next month and say, hey, what's going to work for me? So that's what I want to know. Put that in the chat. Uh, Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We're back to our regular schedule. We're having live Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. PST. So if you didn't get a chance to tune in today, you can always tune in tomorrow live, and I'll be